John Wick, Chapter 4, 2023. The film opens with John wounded yet unbroken, hiding in the shadows after defying the High Table. Scarred by loss and driven by purpose, he trains relentlessly, preparing for a war with no finish line. The High Table responds by appointing the ruthless Marquis de Graymont, a man who believes power must be enforced through fear and public punishment. Old allies are executed, safe havens destroyed, and Wick's bounty rises across the world. From this moment, John understands survival is no longer enough. Freedom can only be earned by tearing down the system itself. John travels to Osaka, seeking refuge at the Continental run by Shimazu, an old friend who honors loyalty over fear. The Marquis retaliates swiftly, unleashing elite assassins and forcing Kane, a blind yet deadly warrior, to hunt John under threat to his daughter. Their reunion is heavy with respect and sorrow, as both men are bound by duty rather than hatred. A violent siege erupts, blending swords, arrows, and gunfire through elegant halls. Shimazu falls with honor, Akira fights fiercely, and John escapes once more, carrying guilt and the weight of inevitable sacrifice. In Berlin, John confronts his past through the traditions of the Ruska Roma. To challenge the High Table, he must reclaim his family title by enduring ancient rituals and combat trials. His path leads to Killa, a grotesque crime lord protected by overwhelming force inside a thunderous nightclub. The fight is brutal, chaotic, and exhausting, pushing John beyond physical limits. Through sheer will and relentless resolve, Wick survives. Bloodied but victorious, he earns the right to challenge the Marquis directly, proving that even the most powerful systems can be wounded by persistence and courage. The Marquis responds with arrogance, manipulating rules to maintain control while hiding behind privilege. He strips Winston of power, destroys the New York Continental, and mocks tradition while exploiting it. Kane continues his pursuit, torn between friendship and survival, while trackers, assassins, and mercenaries flood the streets. John becomes a symbol rather than a man, inspiring both fear and admiration. Every city becomes a battlefield, every shadow a threat. Yet Wick presses forward, understanding that pain is temporary, but freedom is permanent. The journey is no longer about revenge, but about choosing his own fate. Paris becomes the final arena, where elegance collides with chaos. The Marquis prepares a ceremonial duel, believing control of the rules guarantees victory. John navigates deadly stairways, relentless gunfights, and relentless ambushes through the city's streets. The tracker follows closely, torn between profit and conscience. Kane repeatedly crosses John's path, each encounter filled with restraint and unspoken respect. Every step toward the duel costs blood and breath. As dawn approaches, exhaustion overtakes John, yet his determination sharpens. The world watches silently, sensing an ending written not in words, but in sacrifice. The duel is set at sunrise beneath Parisian skies, governed by ancient codes the High Table cannot deny. Pistols are chosen, distance measured, and honor demanded. The Marquis believes himself untouchable, hiding behind Kane as his champion. Each shot echoes with consequence, each movement heavy with fate. John is wounded repeatedly, yet refuses to fall. When the Marquis finally steps forward, arrogance blinds him. Wick fires with precision, ending tyranny not through rage, but through rules the High Table once abused. Justice arrives quietly, carried by smoke and silence. With the duel complete, the High Table's authority fractures. Winston regains control of the Continental, standing once more as a guardian of balance. Kane is freed from his obligation, finally released from forced violence. The tracker walks away richer, but changed, having witnessed honor beyond contracts. John collapses from his wounds, gazing toward the sunrise. His journey flashes through his mind: love, loss, pain, loyalty. For the first time, peace feels possible. Not victory through domination, but freedom through acceptance. His breathing slows as the world finally releases its grip on him. John Wick dies not as a weapon, but as a man who chose his own ending. He is buried beside his wife, his gravestone reading, "Loving Husband." Winston and the Bowery King stand in silence, honoring a legend who broke an impossible system. The underworld whispers his name with reverence rather than fear. Rules remain, but power has shifted. John's legacy becomes more than violence, it becomes defiance. In choosing death on his own terms, Wick achieves the freedom denied to him in life, proving that even in darkness, choice still matters. The world moves on, but John Wick's impact lingers. Assassins rethink loyalty, leaders fear consequence, and the High Table feels vulnerable for the first time. Cain walks into a future once denied, while Akira's quest for justice quietly begins. Stories spread, growing larger than truth, turning John into myth. Yet beneath the legend lies a simple truth: one man refused to kneel. His actions remind everyone that systems survive on obedience, and rebellion begins with refusal. John Wick becomes a symbol of willpower, endurance, and the cost of freedom. John Wick Chapter 4 closes as a tragic, operatic farewell, blending elegance, brutality, and emotional depth. It transforms action into poetry, where every bullet carries meaning and every silence speaks volumes. The film honors legacy while delivering spectacle, showing that even the deadliest man seeks peace. John's journey ends not in triumph, but in release. His story proves that violence may open doors, but choice defines destiny. As the screen fades, John Wick stands eternal, not as an assassin, but as a man who reclaimed his name, his honor, and his freedom.